This was Jiang Huixing when we met her in December, with her daughter Jessie in hiding in a small rural hotel. It was past midnight and she was frightened. Days earlier, her father, the local pastor, had been detained with 23 of his parishioners.
And this is your father?
Yeah, this is my father.
This is her this week, with her daughter, now 1 year old, and her husband, in Texas at the end of an extraordinary escape. The story begins here, Nanle County Church in central China's Henan province.
Who is this?
Government.
At our nighttime meeting in December, Huixing had explained how government men arrived at the church and took away her father. They were rounding up the congregation. It was a case which pitted the government against a Christian community fighting for the right to worship and to prevent land they owned from being seized. The hostility and danger the Christians faced was clear even to us as we investigated the case the following day. A local government renter mob attacked us. We were removed from the town and told not to return. But at the American embassy here in Beijing and thousands of miles away in Texas, a plan was being hatched to help the family escape. A group of Christian activists based in Texas put together a case for asylum. They said the family's lives were in danger. It was clearly a good case. The Americans issued papers for the family to fly to the US. With their baby daughter Jessie, Huixing and Julei avoided authorities on a 6-hour drive to Beijing. They made it to the airport in mid-June, tried to board a plane with their US embassy papers, but the Chinese authorities prevented them from flying. They were briefly detained and sent back to Nanle. But they didn't give up and instead began a journey south, hitchhiking for 1,000 miles to China's border with Vietnam and Laos. Over a month, they made it across the porous borders of these countries. At the weekend, they were in Bangkok, from where they flew to America. They now have a worrying year-long wait while their asylum claim is considered. The prospects, though, for the pastor back in China are far more bleak. Zhang Xiaojie was sentenced last week for gathering crowds to disturb the public order. He was jailed for 12 years. Mark Stone, Sky News in Beijing.